very sacred, right? From the time we are born, from the time we can actually understand the world around us, everyone around us tells us, help. Help is a virtue that is embedded in us, in our DNA. We're always looking to help. And why not? Help is a good thing, right? Your teachers teach you, you get gold stars in school when you help someone. The scriptures teach you, society teaches you the same. In fact, it glorifies you. And why go far? Take my example. 11 years ago, I gave up a successful career just to form my life around help. I set up an NGO to help people, to help the lesser privileged fulfill their dreams, make the world a better place. And to be honest, I loved what I was doing. It felt almost heroic. Here I am, a savior, helping people who are not as privileged or as blessed as me. But today, almost 12 years into Wishes and Blessings, I stand here, humbled, to make a confession, to admit, I am here to help are amongst the most dangerous and arrogant words I have ever taken out from my mouth. Yes, you heard me right. Most dangerous and most arrogant. You might be thinking, what is she talking about? She's leading her life helping people, and then she's saying helping is the most dangerous thing you can do. Today, I stand here to decipher this help for you. Because when you reach out to help people, you're not just extending a hand. You're not building a bridge. What you're doing is building a wall. I'm going to explain this by means of 3 examples. These are not a figment of my imagination. These are things that I have lived through. When I initially started Wishes and Blessings, on a cold January night, those of you who've been to Delhi would know how bad January can be, a group of volunteers and I set out to distribute warm blankets on the roads, to the people sleeping on the streets. We crossed a very eminent hospital and we saw a whole lot of people sleeping on the street. And I was in a jacket, in a car, with the heater on, and I was shivering just looking at that one person on the floor, and he was sleeping with a plastic sheet on top of him. So we stopped the car, we got out, all the volunteers, we distributed the blankets, and I went to this elderly gentleman. I saw that he was sleeping, so I didn't wake him up. I took the heavy blanket, thick, heavy, expensive blanket, and I put it on him, not to disturb him. He woke up. He got up, he smiled, one of the best smiles I've ever seen, and he blessed me. He blessed me profusely. And, I get goosebumps talking about it because I can still see his face. And I felt very happy that here I am, I've done something good. So anyways, we leave, and I'm still very warm in the entire garb of happiness that I've surrounded for myself because I've helped someone. And we go out, we go and we distribute blankets all through the night. At around 3:30, we are heading back home, and I cross the same hospital again. To my complete horror, I see a rickshaw full of blankets. And the same people whom we had helped are actually selling the blankets to this one man who's handing out 100-rupee notes. And to my complete horror again, I saw the same uncle who had blessed me like how, selling his blanket. So I walked up to him and I said, Baba, I was visibly shocked, and I was like, you just blessed me. You were so happy. Why on earth are you selling this blanket? And he turns around and he tells me, well, you didn't see. I had a blanket under my plastic sheet. The blanket you put on top of me is going to be soaked in no time because of the dew. And honestly, I don't need a blanket. What I need is a wooden blanket to stay, to put on the ground so that I can sleep, and a cup of hot tea because it's really cold. At that moment, I felt really small. What I had done was I had imposed my solution to the problem of this old man whose life I had not lived, but I had assumed that my blanket is going to be the solution to his problem. I cut to another story. Champya auntie, a resident of my old age home in Delhi, very, very fond memories. Unfortunately, she's no more. but she was one of the most loving people I've ever come across. During one of my visits to the old age home, I saw her just sitting, eating food without any expression, and which was very unlikely her usual self. So I walked up to her and I told her that, is the food not okay? Are you not well? She looked at me and she said very humbly, all my life, I've never seen this much food. I've only had 2 meals a day, and you give me 4 to 5 meals. I'm indebted. But you know what? I don't like this food. I don't feel like eating this food. It has no taste. And the doctor you have put, which was the dietitian, tells me that this food is good for me. This food is not for me. And I just looked at her, and then it struck me what I was trying to do in my entire garb to help was trying to give her a life of survival when she wanted to live. She wanted to taste the food she grew up eating. She wanted the mirch and the masala and everything that just made her feel lively again. Again, I was the imposer. My third story, a little boy whom I tried to help during one of my umpteen visits to the slums, gifted him a swanky new bag. Suddenly, this man comes up to me and tells me, how much is this bag for? And I looked at him and I said, how does it matter to you? So he says, I'm his father, and instead of giving this bag, which looks like 700-800, can you give me 500 rupees instead? And I, to my utter horror, I said, no, I will not. It's against protocol, it's against accountability, and this money is not for you. I want to send this child to school, and I want him to have a new bag like all other children when he goes to a new class. Fair enough, I walked away. And after 2 weeks, when I was passing the slum, I saw the same child selling bhutta, corn, on the street. The bag was on his side. I asked him, why aren't you in school? He says, my father didn't have money to pay the fee. So I was asked to leave the school. I have never felt worse in my life. So this had almost broken me completely, that here I am, trying to be this savior, but what am I? I'm actually becoming an imposer. I'm imposing my thoughts, on people whom I see as problems. And I think the final, the final nail on the coffin was when I lived this experience myself. Somebody called me, a close friend called and said, I'm so inspired by what you do. I love what you do, and I've decided to help you. So I'm going to be sending you cartons of things, which please make sure go to the right people. There are books and there are toys and there's clothes and this and that, and I really want to help. This is my contribution. I was quite happy that people are getting inspired by me. And when those boxes arrived and I opened them, my teammates were with me, and I can't repeat what they said, but I'll tell you what I did. What I saw inside were chipped mugs, soiled clothes, broken toys, torn books. I was angry? No, I just smiled. Because this was a moment of self-realization which made me realize that I was doing exactly the same thing to the number of people I was helping out, but probably in a more glorified way. This lady sent all this and felt good about it, that she's helping people. It was a surplus she didn't need, but she thought it was good enough for others. Likewise, my surplus was my education, my urge to help people, the fact that I had the resources, but I was doing exactly that. Now this might bring you to the question that what am I doing here? Am I trying to tell all of you that 11 years of my life I've wasted? Helping people is not a good thing. Please don't help people. You're doing more of a disservice. Absolutely not. I'm just trying to decipher the meaning of help. Let's try and understand what happens when we want to help and how the entire story of help works. So when we reach out to people and we say, I'm here to help, we're actually constructing an imaginary ladder, a hierarchy. I am here to help. I'm up there on that ladder, you're up there on that ladder because you're educated, you have resources, and the other person who's wanting help is down there. I am the have, he or she is the have-not. I have the resources, you don't. I have the answers, you don't. I'm here to help, you're here to be helped. So I am superior, right? So solidarity very conveniently turns into superiority. Take a second and think. Is anybody in this room also guilty of the same guilt that I'm trying to express here? Have you, in so many options, just walked into a situation without actually thinking what your help would do? When we walk into situations like this, we try to impose our own solutions to other people's problems. We do it in a very structured fashion because we're an NGO, we are supposed to do that. People like you do it on a daily basis without even thinking. So here is the need to actually rethink help. Armed with all this, do you think, what did I do? Did I shut my NGO? Did I say, no, my previous life was better? At least I didn't have so much guilt? No. I revisited the programs, the projects that I had implemented in the past, and I tried to see what was it that I was doing there. And honestly, I feel embarrassed to share the answers. What I'm guilty of is that I treated people like projects. I treated people like programs. I didn't venture into their problems, but I imposed my solutions because I was there to help. It did take me some time to actually, decipher help and see how I could make this better. And I came up with this, because I've done a PhD and I know what research is, and sometimes it feels nice using big jargons. What I ended up doing was coming up with a model for myself. I call it the AIPDS. Anytime I want to help someone, I ask myself 5 questions. A, action. It starts with I. I, intent. What is my intent? Am I trying to impose my help on someone, or has someone actually asked me for help? Action. What action am I going to be taking? Is it the action that is suited best for them, or is it the action that this is the only recourse I have? Right? After that comes power. What is the power imbalance I'm trying to impose or correct? Is this help to someone? Is it for someone? Or is it with someone? 4th, dignity. Is my action going to harm somebody's dignity? In a better way, if I was to receive what I'm going to give, would I like it? Or would it hurt my dignity? And finally, sustainability. Once I leave the situation of help, will I be making this person dependent on me? Or would I be creating an agency where someday these people might become independent? So everything I do, I pass it through this filter. And let me tell you, it's not an easy task to do, and the answers are always not favorable. But yes, once that I've started doing this, I feel that a lot of things around me have changed. I have finally deciphered help, and now my help is mindful. It's no longer a vertical, it's a horizontal. When I reach out to people, I don't reach out as a savior or an imposer, I reach out as a partner. The semantics have also changed. I no longer say, I am here to help. I say, can we work together to make this a better situation? So what is it that I'm trying to say here? To tell you, to request you. I'm no longer in that authority to say, I want you to, right? Because I'm no longer an imposer, I'm a partner. I'm trying to make this sense of the world along with you. So I urge you and request you that the next time you see someone you want to help, you get that urge, oh, I need to help someone, or this person needs my help, pause for a minute. Understand the situation, decipher the situation. If my model is too complex for you, don't use it. But yes, ask yourself mentally, was I invited here or am I imposing myself? Have I heard the situation? Have I listened enough? Or am I just jumping in and acting? Will my action be very good for myself and for my ego, or will it actually make a difference to the person I'm trying to help? And when you start following these 3 simple questions, you will realize that your journey from an imposer of help to an actual partner striving to make a meaningful difference has begun. Because, my friends, what the world needs are not helping imposers. What we need are compassionate partners. And that's what help is all about. Thank you.